Trustee Whitehall. Trustee Vazio.
Here.
Trustee Manion. Trustee Reese. Trustee Dees.
Yes.
Trustee Pandolfi. Here. Trustee Vazio.
Oh, here.
Trustee Step. Trustee Wilson.
Oh, he present.
Trustee Cook.
Here.
Virgo. Here. Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Gray.
There's a reason for that.
Really? We have a form.
Okay, thank you. That applies to a former meeting.
Uh-huh.
Okay, for those who wish to join, Mike, would you please give us a pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, for invocation today, I've been focusing on the word service because we at the Mid-Continent Public Library, we're here to serve people and lay down our lives. And really that's part of our mission statement is serving. And it takes humility to actually serve. And so I'm going to read a short passage of scripture out of Philippians 2. It says, do nothing from selfish or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also the interests of others. And so I try to live my life by that. Sometimes it's really hard, but it takes humility. It takes laying your life down. And so pride has to go out the window. And sometimes I can be arrogant and prideful and don't walk in this way, but it's not good for me. It's not good for anybody around me. And so I just submit that to you all, that we're here to serve people in our communities. And everyone in here does an excellent job of serving, as I've just pondered that term. So that word servant, serving, humility, and all of that. So if you'd like to join me in prayer. Father, we take your word, and it talks about humility and service, laying our lives down, preferring one another before ourselves, looking at other people that are needy and our constituents in the library, the ones that come who have different needs. Lord, would you help us in these days to fulfill a life of servanthood in every one of our library branches. And we just thank you for this opportunity in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. At the last meeting, an invitation was extended for anybody who wished to offer reflection. So now's your time. Okay, I have one, and I'm very pleased. Unbeknownst to me, it ties to the whole notion of service. A couple months ago, I found out that I was going to be in need of a passport, and so I got on the website for the Department of State, and it said it takes 6 to 8 weeks, and then I used the 800 number call, and I called somebody, whoever she was, and said that the normal processing time is roughly 8 weeks if you're really lucky. And then I went to like a catatonic seizure at the time because that would have been horrible for me. So I went to one of our branches and worked with a young librarian. Her name was Lydia. I had the forms printed off and prepared according to the instructions from the State Department, and everything was proper according to the directions were. And she said, oh, by the way, there's another form. And my response was, well, I don't think I really need it. It's not called for. And she said, yeah. But I found out they're asking for this and rejecting because something that was not requested, they preferred to have. So for other folks, their 8 weeks that turn into some, however much longer than 8 weeks. She was amazingly professional, courteous, and very, very patient. And in 1.5 weeks, I got this certified letter, and it was my passport. And what struck me is that this whole concept of quiet, diligent service is right there. All I saw was interacting with somebody across the table. But this whole depth and wealth of experience that she brought to just me, one customer, I'm sure is replicated hundreds, if not thousands. I know it's thousands of times across all the services from all the branches. So accidentally, we just tied into what Mike was talking about service, but yeah, this is a service organization and 800 great folks. Okay, jump into okay, on my motion, I move for the approval of the agenda. Is there a second?
I second.
Second discussion? Tracy, would you call the vote, please?
Trustee Thies,
Yes.
trustee Pandolfi,
Yes.
trustee Lazio,
Yes.
trustee Wilson,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Virgo,
Yes.
trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. On my motion, I move for the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a second? Second discussion? Teresa?
Trustee Thies,
Yes.
trustee Pandolfi,
Aye.
trustee Lazio.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson. Trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Virgo.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I believe there are no visitors for comments or words recognition. None? Okay. Finance reports.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. Financial report. Looking at the property taxes. See, we have collected $64.39 so far this year. Budgeted is 60.5, so about 99% collected. Last year is a comparison. Are a little higher than what they were last year. The graph below just shows the last 5 fiscal years, the taxes collected through this period of the fiscal year. Moving on to the next slide. This is the operating cash flow projection that was presented last month. There have been no changes, but just wanted to present this again. Moving on to the next slide is looking just at the general fund. Revenues year to date are $59.75 million compared to a budget of 7.89, so we're about 1.8 million above our budget. The wages and benefits are at 72% of the budget. Materials is at 70% of the budget. The programs are around 50% of the budget. Our largest program, of course, is the summer reading program, which is just starting to gear up. And operations are at just under 63% of the budget. So all told, we've spent $51.06 million, which is about 74% of the budget. We're pretty much in line with where we had anticipated being. Moving on to the next slide, looking at the capital project fund. Of course, the largest portion of the capital project fund right now is the capital plan. We've spent $10.87 million of capital plan so far this year. In addition to that, the contract for an owner's representative is around $113,000, and the Harvey Jones demolition project has spent around $44,000 so far this year. So all expenditures in the capital project fund are just over $11 million. We have revenues and transfers in at 10.2 million, and so we've got expenditures in excess of revenue of about $816,000. The last slide in my presentation is looking at a snapshot of the health fund. The revenues year to date are 3.27 million. We're just we've collected about 73% of our budget, so it's right on target. And our expenditures are just over $3 million, which is about 64.63% of our budget. And so far, year to date, we have a revenues in excess of expenditures of $215,000. Those are all of my comments, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Okay, questions?
Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. So the Harvey Jones project, is that, are they pretty much, anticipated expenditures on that project done?
What I was told was the building project is done, but we're still collecting invoices and paying them. So it should be fully paid in the next month, I believe.
Questions? All right, let's jump into the committee reports. Is anything from the technology committee?
Is Lori Lemonian on the line?
Hi, Teresa. No, Trustee Lemunion is not online.
Brian, if you could just give a brief overview.
Yeah, so we met Monday morning at 10, and we went through some usage stats that we had. I presented, had like a 5-year usage stats for the website, the PCs, the Wi-Fi to go, self-check usage, and what else did I? There's something else. And then we went through the budget and we presented the budget to the technology committee for their review. And that slide deck and that spreadsheet for those details are up in Word docs. And then I believe we're going to be talking again about that next month. Yep. That's what we did. Yep.
Any questions, Ryan? Okay, finance committee.
Okay, we just finished our meeting. The only item to bring to the board is the matter of the auditor for producing the comprehensive annual report and audited financial statements. So is this on?
Yes.
No, I get it on the screen. But the resolution language.
Point six, pull up the resolution. No, the actual we actually.
Okay, so is that, well, back up, is that the motion that we're?
Yeah, that's the motion, but there's a resolution in it. Can you pull that up?
I'm running the slide, Teresa.
Ryan?
I'm trying to find it. I'm not seeing it. This is.
It's on-
All right, well, while you're dealing with that, so the audit committee met.
And there's also, I handed out a copy in front of everyone, and those online is under 6.6.
Do you want me to go to Board Docs? So
You can,
pull it up. Okay.
but you also have a copy in front of you.
So in the meantime, I'll explain. So finance staff went out for bids with 9 different firms, 4 responded, 1 declined. So we had 3 bids, one from Hood, one from Forbes, and another one from MSM. RSM, okay. Which is, I think, is the old McLaren from my days. So they provided fee proposals and we had discussion, and the recommendation came back to proceed with Hood. Hood is the incumbent. They also provided the lowest contract cost, which is $40,000 for the upcoming year and $4,000 for any what I'll call special single audits, program audits. So the resolution passed at the committee level was to Do I need to do that? No, okay. So the resolution you have on the screen and you should have in front of you is to approve an agreement with Hood and Associates to provide auditing services to produce an annual comprehensive financial report for Mid-Continent Public Library. And to, in essence, authorize the CEO to sign the agreement with them for that purpose. So there's the motion on the table.
Thanks, good. Mr. Chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, in the fifth paragraph, 1, 2, 3. Fourth paragraph, it references exhibit A, and I think you have exhibit A for us.
Yeah, it's, sorry. It's the proposal. I have it here. I have 4 copies. It's a very slow copier. The other one should be on. Do you
I would like to, since I offered the language to come out of committee, and I don't know what's in exhibit A, so before we.
It's the proposal that was submitted.
It's also on board docs.
Well, board docs to me is, I don't have any computer, I'm not gonna have computers.
Yeah, but that's. You like a copy? What?
But I don't need it. I looked at it online.
Get it on.
I guess I have a question. I was under the impression that the audit services were have an examination under general accepted auditing standards of the financial records. But here it says, and to produce an annual comprehensive report. Is that something included within the notion of doing the audit, or is that a separate service, or just what?
It's included with the audit.
Because typically
of the audit.
typically financial reports are the product of the audited entity.
Right.
Okay.
Conclusion of the audit, they assist the library with producing the comprehensive for the board.
So Ron, if I can.
Please.
So this last year is titled the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. And it includes the 69 pages of stuff, including the introductory letters. So it includes the management comments, all the fund financial statements, the audited financial statements, supplementary information, and the statistical section. So the auditors only opine on the financial statements. I don't think they are bound to opine on anything else. This is basically management's representation about the information that's contained within. But I think they look at it and read it and make sure that nothing looks out of line or inconsistent with the audited financial statements. So, but to your point, we're really engaging them to do the audited financial statements, are we not?
The resolution says for auditing services and production, the annual comprehensive financial report. So yes, it's both.
So is this their product? And is this which product or ours?
It's a combination of both that they produce it.
So they printed and bind it. Is that correct?
They create the work product and they submit the file to the library. We have our own publishing system.
Yeah, I think it's for discussion, but I think it would be more proper for auditing services to delete everything after the word provide auditing services and then a hard stop period. Because we produce the annual report, they don't, and they never would.
Right.
That's not an annual. It's a financial.
We prepare the financials, they come in and give an opinion whether or not they properly reflect.
I see what
generally
you're
reflect.
saying.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
all right, I see what you're saying. So that publication, the comprehensive financial report is essentially ours, using their.
Right.
So, okay, so full stop after auditing services. Yes.
Resolution and the motion as well. Do you want the word resolution and the motion as well?
Sir,
So it would be approve a resolution.
Something new,
it is, and if I may.
because I don't remember doing this in the past, so maybe for the board's education, what do we?
Make sure they save me a seat.
So it's, as opposed to just a basic, so what I'm used to, at least in my experience, is we would make a resolution to approve Hood & Associates to provide auditing services for the 24 fiscal year. That then authorizes an engagement letter, okay, between Hood and the library. That is a separate agreement. Contract, has all that's like 10 pages long. So I guess I'm sitting here, this, I'm not sure why we need this. I'm speaking for myself, because it has no binding authority, that the authority is within the engagement letter that you're going to execute.
That's
And what-
authorizing, well, a couple reasons. You know, you're free to chime in here. One, I think the value in framing resolutions that way is it provides context. So as a matter of public record, you can see the reason why and the action that we're taking. And then it includes in the end to say that it authorizes me to enter into agreement. And so my history is these types of resolutions accompany every board action for that reason. So it's easier for public to read and kind of understand why it is that we made the decision that we did at the board level. Not asking that we read the whole thing, but
Okay, so if we're going to change that, then we need to strike the language in section 1 and the third line that says, and produce an annual comprehensive financial report. So section 1, if I'm understanding the correction to the motion, is library director, CEO, or their designee is hereby authorized to execute all documents necessary to enter into an agreement with an associate, CPAs, PC, to conduct auditing services as described in Exhibit A attached here to and incorporated herein, and is incorporated herein.
right, okay.
Yeah, in going in a reverse time sequence, Aaron's going to sign the agreement. And backwards, he has authority to sign it because of resolution. And moving backwards, all this whereas stuff is our 12 brains getting together and saying why he should sign it. All these preliminary whereas stuff is it's helpful, again, as was mentioned, put in the context of how we got there. Certainly not necessary, but helpful. A couple things.
Sure. The use of resolution, I think, is appropriate. You know, the legislature passed enact statutes, city councils enact, I was on city council ordinances, and we're a political subdivision, and I think it's very proper to use the term resolution to identify what legislative we've been doing. Getting back into the body of this, though, you know, if you look at Exhibit A, it does reference also the option of 3 fiscal years for 25, 26, and 27. And I had an issue with that at the committee only because, and I don't expect anybody to answer this because it probably wouldn't even really answer it if it was happening. My question was, can we, after next year's annual or audit, can we just stop and ask for a different set of recommendations from our staff for new auditors? Or is there an understanding within the industry that no one really has in writing? When the option is used, does that really mean effectively this is a 4-year contract? And no one really answered that, nor do I expect an answer because probably can't do that legally. But I was one that, you know, if I'm not happy after 1 year, I'm not opposed to saying, okay, this contract is over and look at someone else. So in the actual action that was in the committee, it lists the option years of 25, 26, and 27. And I really don't know if we have to include it in this resolution or not, because it does reference Exhibit A, which does list the next 3 years. So I just want the ability that I want us to have the ability after 1 year, if we don't like the auditing agreement, and yes, they are they are the incumbent auditors. I just want to make sure that we can not continue a relationship and look for somebody else 12 months from now. I just want to be safe with that.
Trustee Johnson, if you'd like me to respond again. So the way
Yeah.
the proposals, it says there's initial term and then 3 optional years. I foresee the agreement being exactly the same. So we'll have a window of time before the first year is over to either terminate the agreement or renew the agreement. So that will be in that agreement to come forth after, if this is approved. So it's contemplating that, and I foresee the agreement to match that.
I don't want you to answer, but I don't want us to be blacklisted for not allowing a second option year or a third option year if we look for someone else a year from now. And I don't know the industry. I've never used it.
Since we used them for 15 years now, that's a good record.
Well, I would presume that. I've been here about a year, so I don't know. So, but that was all in my real point was in our resolution we adopted at our committee, the option years were actually mentioned, but it is in Exhibit A. So I'll probably just vote for this and see what happens in 12 months.
And I would just say, I mean, when Sarah and I are working together on crafting agreements, we're thinking about this very thing. So that language will be inserted into the agreement. It gives us the option to reconsider at year 1. Now, if I would say this, if the vendor were to object to those terms, then certainly we would need to come back to the board and clear with you. So so there's the proposal, and we will draft an agreement based on the board's decision. And it will reflect that it needs to be renewed on an annual basis.
Any other questions or discussions?
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
just to the issue of using this tool, and in particular, the tool of a resolution, I like it. I feel much more comfortable having a tool of a document like this in our hand. It's been stated by the director. It allows the public to go back rather than read through a lot of minutes and try to summarize comments that may or may not have been made. It allows them to look specifically at the rationale for decisions that we make. So this is something with the typical political jurisdictions, and I think it's important we function like that. So I like the language of it. And I appreciate that, getting this direction.
Thank you.
Comments, questions? Okay, we have a resolution from the committee. Is there a second? Second discussion further?
This is Susan Wilson. I second.
Okay, thank you, Susan.
Let's get a point of clarity on the actual motion.
Okay, I think Bob read the motion with the deletion of some extraneous stuff. Do I do it again, just for?
Yeah, because in committee, we had the actual option years in the motion.
It's part of this now. I think, if I'm understanding.
Well, it's part of, because it's included as part of Exhibit A.
So the motion, as I understand it, was a motion to approve the resolution.
The wording up there needs to be, so the wording
That
I
wording is
think
different than what you
should
said.
be to approve the resolution approving, basically, Bob, read the top. Read the top 3 lines in bold. And instead of provide auditing services, strike the words and produce an annual comprehensive financial report. That's your resolution.
To approve the resolution approving a recommendation from the Finance and Audit Committee to authorize the
That's just this title. So it's just approving the agreement with Hudson Associates.
We're approving the resolution, are we not?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, and that's. Resolution we adopted in the committee meeting had the option years stated in it. It's been removed there, it's been removed here, so do we?
no, technically it's within Exhibit A.
Yeah, it is, no, it is, but
So the resolution incorporates Exhibit A.
it does have.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The wording presented does not provide anything that says it authorizes the executive director to enter into an agreement.
On the resolution?
On that motion. It says we're approving, if I'm understanding, so you're approving an agreement with Hood and Associates.
I'm looking at section 1, it says the director is hereby authorized to execute all documents necessary into an agreement to conduct auditing services as described in Exhibit A attached here to in the corporation.
Section.
Okay, so it's not this up here in bold.
No.
This is
The document.
We're
What you were saying.
approving the full resolution. I'm just doing shorthand.
But I think that
We can read the whole
should be
thing, you know?
in a motion that the directors authorize. Because we're not approving,
I'll read the motion and
But
Bob can make.
if I may finish.
No, it's okay. No,
At this point, are we, and this is clarification, at this point, are we approving the agreement? Or are we approving the director to enter into the agreement?
the letter. Second, the letter.
Then that needs to be reflected.
So I'm gonna read the motion
Okay.
and Bob will, I'm gonna read the motion and Bob's.
Kind of slow, you know.
Well, there's only 2 strikes. So a resolution approving an agreement with Hood and Associates, PC, to provide auditing services. Period.
Again, it does not say that the executive director.
For Mid-Continent Public Library, okay? Those are the top 3 lines. I struck the words and produce an annual comprehensive financial report, okay? The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, however they are identical, but I'll read those. Whereas Mid-Continent Public Library issued a request for proposal for auditing services and production. For auditing services. And whereas 4 responses were received, staff reviewed the qualifications and criteria set forth in the proposals and recommends Hood and Associates CPAs PC. And whereas the proposals and recommendation were presented to the Finance and Audit Committee and the committee recommended to enter into an agreement with Hood and Associates CPAs PC. And whereas a copy of Hood and Associates CPAs PC proposal is attached to this resolution as Exhibit A, that's on board docs in the finance agenda. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Mid-Continent Public Library as follows. Section 1, the library director / CEO or their designee is hereby authorized to execute all documents necessary to enter into an agreement with Hood and Associates CPAs PC to conduct auditing services as described in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein.
It's just confusing for me because it says in the first line that we're approving an agreement, but then down in the thing, we're saying we're approving the director to enter an agreement. There's no agreement attached to this. That's, the proposal is attached, but the agreement is not, and that's my issue.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on.
Sure. If I might engage in the dialogue. So in the resolution structures, because this is a new thing. We're actually, that top section is the title. It's not the action. And it's confusing. So the action we're taking doesn't necessarily have to be specified out all in the title, it's sort of a reference point. And the action is actually all the way down in section 1.
I understand that. However, aren't we gonna come back later and approve the actual
I'm
contract?
gonna change the word at the top one.
Okay, thank you.
We're authorizing
A
here.
so a resolution approving Hood and Associates to provide audits and services for Mid-Continent Public Library. Everything else is as I read it before. How's that? How that
Leave it
work?
at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, more discussion, questions? Okay, let's give it another shot. We have a motion from the committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Thank you. Teresa, please call the roll.
Trustee Thies,
Yes.
trustee Pandolfi. Aye. Trustee Lazio,
Yes.
trustee Lyman,
Yes.
trustee Step. Yes. Trustee Wilson,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
Virgo. Yes. Trustee Johnston,
Aye.
trustee Gregg.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I don't have any. Pardon?
More. Do I have any more?
No.
Okay, thanks. Building committee.
Yes, thank you. The building committee will meet, we haven't met for a while because we haven't had any new construction discussions. We're going to be talking about maintenance. Our next meeting is April 25th and at 10 a.m. Thursday, April 25th, 10 a.m. That's all.
Questions?
We have a few pictures here. Side and it's Independence. Work is coming along. See, we're nearly complete. There's some buttoning up we need to do with a few things. We've done walkthroughs in both branches. And very pleased at this point. And then later on, I'll tell you about the grand openings. But there's made a lot of progress.
Okay, thank you. Fundraising?
Yes. Brief report, library day campaign was held recently. We have some results of that. I don't think they've quite been finalized, but as I understand correctly from Diane, the full report will be in the next monthly, is that correct? This is March, so that fell previously there in April. So that was very successful. They surpassed the goal, which was about $30,000. And final numbers coming out next month. We've received a recent grant award from the Missouri State Library to pilot the citizenship classes at 2 of the branches. We have an award that we'd like to start to get the word out on and promote for nominations of. That's the Maggie Jackson Award nomination. I'm going to read the description of that. Library customers, trustees included, are encouraged to nominate an MCPL employee who is committed to improving the quality of their community and goes above and beyond to do so. Nomination period is open through the end of the month, April 30th, and the nomination form is available on the website. So there's a terrific long link here. I'm not going to read that to you, but I'm sure if the trustees are interested in pursuing that, we'll get you the link, and that information will be available on the website.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Comments? And personnel?
Personnel committee postponed their meeting this past month due to extenuating circumstances. I'm trying to see the date we were changing that to. It was April 24th at 5. So we'll be meeting then. 5:30. 5:30. We'll be meeting. It's the wrong calendar, that's why. Okay. So and we'll be going over the personnel budget, which currently traditionally runs the majority budget. So I'm looking forward to Jennifer's presentation.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments for Jocelyn? And our much anticipated librarians report.
Okay, We don't have a special guest today, but I'm going to go over a few highlights of our MCPL monthly. There's two lovely gentlemen on the front, one of whom might be familiar to you, are the first and second place winners of our annual spelling bee. Garrett Fry, as I mentioned last year, is a power user of the Midwest Genealogy Center and also evidently a very good speller. And Benjamin Roberts came in second. They battled it out over the word Kusha. I'm pretty certain that's what it is, yes. And I won't ask anyone to spell it because clearly it's not easy. But nonetheless, that annual event is a huge draw. The community is very invested in it, and we're happy for both of them. I wish them success. Normally, we break things out by county, but so much happened in Jackson County this month or this last month that I decided to focus on some pretty noteworthy events. First at MGC in the spring, I think it was, what was that, March? It's just it's March, right? March 16th. Trustee Greg and I attended a genealogy conference, and we had Blaine Bettinger spoke about genealogy and DNA, and it was absolutely fascinating and a little bit above my head. But as you can see from the picture, it was a sold out crowd. It's the strangest thing. Full disclosure, not a huge genealogy buff, but I arrived at maybe 7:45 and there's a line in the parking lot of people waiting to get in the building. They came as far away as Oklahoma and Arkansas, and it was a big hit. So fascinating conversation there and presentation. It was an all-day event. And then we had Food Biz Con, and that was here in Independence. Xander participated in this program, and it was a huge success as well. So that was held at the Innovation Center right up the street here. So, and I think it says 130 attendees there for that program. So those are the two things I have to mention. If you look on the 5th page, if you haven't watched those Nice to Meet You videos, I encourage you to do so. We're beginning work on what the second installment of that series will look like. Lastly, I want to draw your attention to page 7. Our marketing team scans the internet for feedback and on our services. And Google Business Review, we came across this wonderful pull-out quote written by a woman named Ruth. She says, "I absolutely love the library. It's a fantastic place to study. They have many options for seating depending on your needs, group tables to private desks to my personal favorite, window-facing personal couches. The coffee shop is delicious, accessible, and inexpensive. The librarians are wonderful and informed. The selection of books is decent, but you can put along anything on hold to pick up within a few days. Highly recommend." It's not the first time I've heard remarks like this about Green Hills. One I remember reading is that someone said the coffee there is so great, it's better than any place in town. So people actually seek out the coffee at our Green Hills Library. So
Quote says Colvin Road.
what's that? Oh, well, their coffee's good too.
That's Post Coffee, my favorite.
Right. It's this, you see the same thing, and excuse me, so Colburn, hats off to Colburn staff too, they're quite wonderful. And we have 2 Colburn power users right here.
3.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
4.
Yeah.
4.
Right. But that's unusual. Most libraries that get into the coffee business fail miserably at it. County Public Library does an excellent job, so.
Yeah.
And those window-facing chairs or personal couches, those are a huge hit. And some of the modifications we made to the layout of Riverside create more opportunities like that. So anyway, it was a great review. Apologies to Colburn Road for getting it wrong.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, I won't. Yes, right. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was we all attended the PLA conference in early. A good number of our branch staff attended it, as well as our executive team, and three of our own trustees were there, and we had just a wonderful time. I think the advantage to having both staff and trustees at professional conferences, we have these fresh eyes on library services. Trustees' presence was invaluable. They came back with a lot of recommendations and feedback on the programming that were of great benefit to us in planning for the next year. So thank you to Marcy and Michelle, who's been down with us, and Lori. And then we actually got a chance to break bread together one morning. So we all went out to breakfast, and it was a really nice time. So yeah, it was a great conference, and we got a lot out of it. And it was a place very special to me, which is Columbus, Ohio, which is the capital of my home state, Ohio. So that is my report. If anyone has any questions, or I guess there'll be time for the trustees to share anything they want to share about their experience. But yeah, so that's it.
Did you say you want us to share about the PLA now or later?
Well, I think, well, I'm okay with it, but there's,
Sure.
yeah, if Lori, if you care to share anything, please do.
Yes, and I'm sorry that I had to be a little late coming. I had a meeting that ran long. I did just want to say I had a very educational time at the event, and got to, make a lot of good contacts and meet a lot of people that I think can help our library to grow in the near future. One of the things that we talked about in our technology meeting yesterday was we found a vendor that a long time ago we had mentioned, possibly having a little library representation at the airport, at the new airport. And we did find a vendor that does like kind of a vending machine of books that they do have something like that offered as like a little kiosk where you can check out books and you can also check out like audio and stuff. They're quite expensive. They're about $65,000, but I did just want to tell you that they do have something like that. And it was very interesting to see that. Also made some great contacts of different vendors that are available to help us with like, some of the things that we're looking at for our technology perspective, like kiosks and sorting and stuff. But one of the things that I had given Aaron that I hope that in the near future we might be able to look into is the read to feed program, where kids can read books and they can earn like points towards helping buy a chicken for someone or a llama or different kinds of animals to help feed people. And I thought that was a really cool program. But all in all, it was very educational and a really great time for us to see a lot of new things out there.
Thank you, Lori. Well, if you ever get a chance to go to a conference with Lori or Michelle or even Marcy, but do walk the exhibit floor with them. So they call me like, you gotta come see this. And the minute we go on the floor, everyone's like, they're on first name basis with everybody. And it was quite nice. And I think all the trustees, Marcy, you included, we're able to put our library system into context. When you go to a place like PLA, you truly, then you understand how big we are and how we compare to other library systems across the nation. Because we really are unique. There's a few others that are near our size in other states, but we're an outlier and we're very significant. So I really enjoyed the experience. And I'm sorry that some of the programs you wanted to attend didn't happen, but for those of you who don't know, there was weather in our area that caused some events to be canceled.
I'll go ahead and throw in my comments if you don't mind now, and then I don't have to say them later. Yeah, I have to say I was crushed that Ta-Nehisi Coates was not able to make it. But we got to have breakfast that morning, otherwise I would have skipped breakfast with you. Ta-Nehisi Coates, sorry. I really enjoyed the conference. I found something to attend in every session that was of value. I really appreciated the sessions talking about emerging issues in the library world. Some of the legalities and things that are, coming before library systems that was important to learn about. I got the opportunity in the exhibit hall to meet a company that I think we used to have a partnership with, but maybe not now, and that was the Career Online Horizons. And I had an opportunity to share with them that because of the partnership that we had previously, my son achieved his high school diploma through an accredited online agency in 10 months and did wonderfully, but then went on and is now just under a 4.0 student at UMKC, and it was their preparation. So I think it was valuable to them, not just to me, to be able to see those things out there, but also to give feedback to companies that are presenting in their partner libraries. The one session that stood out to me the most that I hope that we followed through on was a session talking about services for the community of young adults and adults with intellectual developmental disabilities. I have a son who's in that area, and I know how difficult it is to find relevant programming in the community at large. And we listened to a wonderful presenter talk about reading programs that they're doing for, say, kids, but they're young adult kids who have grown up now and are looking for ways to make connections in libraries, and they don't. We can't include them necessarily in your typical reading club, so they've been able to modify programming for that community. And I got with Aaron afterward and I said, we really hope that's something that we can look at, because it's so hard to find opportunities for that community to engage and make friendships and just experience the wonderful opportunities of a library system because they have special needs. So he was encouraging to me, and I talked with a couple of other staff who said that we're already looking at things like that. And I look forward to seeing us do that. There's some wonderful examples online to look at. So I really enjoyed the event, enjoyed even having breakfast. A ton of history was.
And just, so we do have Excel Online in high school, is that, yeah, right. And we talked about it in the technology committee. We're at capacity, and there's some discussions about increasing the number of seats that afford that opportunity to more people within our region. So very popular service. And I will say the next time a graduation ceremony comes up, I'll remind the board, because they're truly just a joy to watch.
I want to make clear, I should probably distinguish the separation here. I found them as a private patron. I learned about them through the library system, but I actually didn't engage with them through the program that we used to provide. I think that's an amazing service that we can provide for those who need that. I found that I was able to do that and provide that service to my son separately, but to your point, the more opportunities we can provide to folks who can't do that on their own. It was an amazing opportunity for him, and it's taken him on into college.
Yeah.
We have 99 people in the program right now. And we've had 20 graduates this year so far. So, yes.
Thank you. Any other comments? The next matter is a closed session, Counselor. We have to disengage.
Yeah, can we go ahead?
Yeah,
We need to vote, so, yeah.
Yeah, a motion to go into closed session.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to go into closed session for purposes of legal actions, causes of actions, or litigation involving public governmental bodies and any privileged communication between public governmental body and or its representatives and its attorneys.
Okay, thank you. Second? Second. And any discussion? Okay, Teresa, would you please call?
Trustee Virgo? Yes. Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee
Yes.
Lemunion?
Yes.
Trustee Pandolfi? Trustee Step? Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.